What is up guys, Dzeeff here. It's been about a month since I've doom posted about Master Duel, which I've been trying to cut back on, but in today's video I wanted to talk about the current state of Master Duel as a game, as a format, and I wanted to talk about this because I feel like Master Duel needs to change in a few key ways. Master Duel looks great, it plays great, and I really enjoy filming things like Master Roulette and Master Saga in this game, but there are other areas where I really feel like Konami could improve, and I wanted to talk about those in today's video. Master Duel is hopefully going to be around for a long time, but I feel like some of these things need to be changed if Konami wants to maintain their current player base. So the first thing that I want to talk about, and I think this is a pretty serious problem with the game, is the ban list. So I really feel like Master Duel needs to have a real ban list update the next time that they actually change stuff. So on the last ban list, they did make a few changes, but really the only two that had any sort of impact on any decks were the Ben 10 limit. This one definitely does matter. Drytron are a lot worse with this card at 1. And then also, weirdly enough, I think the DD Dynamite semi-limit helped as well. Now the Fusion Destiny semi-limit mattered as well, but with Anaconda still in the game, I think that this one doesn't really have a huge impact, at least not until they ban Anaconda. But when it comes to the ban list in this game, there are so many broken cards that definitely should not be allowed to exist in this format. I've mentioned a few of these in the past, but we're talking about stuff like True Cannonball Calamities or Rongo or Block Dragon, these cards that are very unfun to play against because they have very unfair effects. These are cards that are maybe okay in the OCG format because obviously this game mostly is based on the OCG format when it comes to the ban list, but I think in a best of one situation, those cards really shouldn't be around. I know we've talked about this before, but it really feels like we've been playing with the same ban list for the last like 5 months of this game being released. I know they had that tiny ban list update a little while ago, but really this is basically the same ban list as it was when the game first launched. Yes, the format has changed because we got cards like DPE and Sword Soul about a month ago or 2 months ago or whenever that was, but overall, most of the decks now are pretty similar to what they looked like at the beginning of this game's release. Next up, I'll mention the card pool. So this game is very behind on cards. People might not realize just how far behind it is. I don't have the exact figures, but we are missing a ton of cards from like 2021, and we are already halfway through 2022. Not to mention that compared to the OCG, this game is even further behind. I'm obviously talking about the TCG numbers there with 2021, but this game is missing a ton of cards, good and bad cards of course, but just cards in general. And I think that with the Valiant Wings selection pack, this is fine. I mean, people do play Exo Sisters. I've seen a lot of people playing those. Personally, I've enjoyed playing the Hyperion stuff, but realistically, this selection pack had very little impact on the metagame in Master Duel. So while it did introduce a bunch of new cards to the game, they weren't really as impactful as the previous new card selection pack, which had DPE and Sword Soul and stuff like that. But the thing about new cards is that even though I want more cards added into the game, and even though people really have been asking for that pretty much since the game has been released, I'm a little bit worried specifically about the next wave of support that is going to be added into this game, at least if we should believe the leaks. So the leaks basically told us that the Flunderees archetype and the Adventurer archetype are going to make their way into the game in the next selection pack, whenever that is, and those two archetypes are, in my opinion at least, very unfun to play against. The Flunder deck is basically going to require everyone to play Imperm and Valor in all of their decks if they want to have a chance, or cards like Droplet or Dark Ruler No More, while the Adventurer stuff is really generically good in a variety of decks, and I'm pretty sure people are going to be sick of those cards like 2 days after they've been released into the game. So we're in this awkward spot where I do want more cards added into the game because holy shit, this game is far behind on cards, but I'm a little bit worried about the very next wave of cards that are getting added into Master Duel, at least if we are believing the leaks. So I'm not really sure what Konami is going to do about that. The main problem is that the TCG and OCG are pretty far ahead on cards already, but also every single month they're getting like new cards, not necessarily just one product, sometimes even multiple products in 1 month, where Master Duel doesn't really keep up with that. They're getting like new selection pack cards, which aren't even like complete packs from the TCG or OSG every like month and a half. So I'm a little bit worried about the actual timeline for new cards getting added into the game. But it's even more than that. We're missing some of the Megaton promo cards from 2019, like Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate Dragon. We're missing stuff like Bee Troopers, a TCG exclusive archetype. Personally, I want to see things like Battle of Chaos get added. Battle of Chaos has a ton of Dark Magician and Blue Eye support, some of which is okay as casual support, but other cards in that pack are actually pretty good competitively, even if they're not as annoying or overpowered as Flundereeze or Adventurer. I also really want like Dimension Force in this game. Dimension Force has a ton of casual and competitive cards and archetypes that I really think a lot of players would enjoy. But before we get to Battle of Chaos cards and Dimension Force cards, we have to survive the next selection pack, which will likely be the Flundereeze stuff and Adventurer stuff. So I'm a little bit worried about players that maybe won't like those archetypes leaving the game and then not coming back when the cool Battle of Chaos or Dimension Force stuff is eventually added into the game. So those are the two biggest areas where I feel like Master Duel needs to change. Let's talk about a couple others. So first off, bots still exist in this game. They're not nearly as popular as they were in the past, but they definitely are still around. I am in, I think, Diamond 5 right now. Yeah, Diamond 5, and I would say that I play against like a bot maybe every like 20 games, maybe sometimes a little bit less than that. Primarily these days they are not the AFK bot. Luckily they are the Ignite FTK bot, which at least is counterable, because if you draw a hand trap you can actually win there, because I think they're programmed to scoop if you activate a card. But yeah, I haven't seen a lot of the AFK bots. I'm not sure if Konami banned those in some way, but bots are definitely still around. It is still an issue, and I hope that they find new ways to combat bots in the future. Furthermore, I think that Konami really should be thinking about alternative formats in this game. I think it would be pretty cool if this game had an event running at pretty much all times. You know, maybe they just like cycle through them like the old ones. You know, there's like a fusion week and a synchro week. These go for like a week and a half or 2 weeks. You could do like 2 events per month. They don't have to be new every single time. Maybe you don't give out the same cosmetic prizes because those are supposed to be exclusive to those events, but just to have some sort of event running pretty much all the time would be a good idea in my opinion. Hearthstone does this with Tavern Brawls. Now these aren't that popular anymore, but they're like fun little like 1 week events, and sometimes they bring them back and make a couple changes. Sometimes they're just like only that 1 week, but overall it's like a fun little weekly challenge that you can do if you want to play an alternative format. And I think that this game really needs that. You know, I would like the ability to choose custom ban lists. That could be kind of fun, but even if they don't do that, just having some sort of event around like 90% of the month would be a good idea. Who knows if they're really going to do that though, especially considering on the rewards list they have the little thing when you get the 22,000 that says Limit 1 Festival 2022, which kind of implies we're not going to get another Limit 1 Festival until 2023. I hope that's not the case, but it seems like it might be with this title. Finally, I'll mention cosmetics. There are still a bunch of leaked dual fields and mates that have not been added into the game. A lot of the leaked pets have been added over the past few months, because we had like that original picture way back when the game first came out that had a whole bunch of them on there. We do have like most of those. I think over half of them are in the game now, but there are still a bunch of cool ones missing. You have White Baking, which isn't in here. You have Salmon Great Gazelle, just a bunch of really cool cards that don't exist in the game at the moment, even though we know they are in the files somewhere, but who knows when they're going to get added. And we do have like new dual fields added every once in a while. We have the Danger Field a couple weeks ago. We have the new one, which is like a desert themed one, which I do like a lot actually. I mean, really think about this. Since release, there has not been a new mate added into the shop directly. You do have the dual pass mate. This one is Scapegoat. That's pretty cool. You have the solo mode mates, you have the festival mates, but you don't actually have any new ones in the shop that you can just buy for 300 gems. When it comes to the dual fields, it is a bit better here because like I said, we do have these 2 newish ones, but still, I mean, we started with 4, we now have 6. It's been 5 months pretty much, and the fact that we only have 2 new fields in the shop is pretty surprising to me. In my opinion, the pets and fields are the coolest things that you can change in this game. Those 2 things are immediately noticeable to your opponents. They change things, they look cool, they're interactable. I really think that Konami should be focusing more of their energy on producing good dual fields and good pets and actually releasing them into the game. Anyway, that is pretty much all I have for today's video. I really don't like like doing these Doom posting Master Duel videos, but I really just feel like at the moment I'm not super motivated to make Master Duel content. I've really been struggling to find things to do on my live streams over the past couple of weeks because the regular ranked mode in Master Duel is pretty much how it's always been, and it's just not quite doing it for me right now. Still really enjoy the game, still really enjoy filming Master Roulette and Master Saga and stuff like that, but in terms of this other stuff, I really wish Konami would shake things up. Anyway, that is all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you later. Thanks so much for watching. Goodbye.